What's going on, you guys? The Demigod back on Demigod ENT, and today I'm bringing you another movie review. So today we're about to be doing the official Demigod ENT non-spoiler movie review for G.I. Joe Origins Snake Eyes. Now, I just went and seen this film yesterday, so I'm bringing you the movie review the day after now, after I've had, some time to think over it and really ponder over everything that I got to witness inside of this film. So I know this film is getting, a bit of a mixed reaction from the movie community right now, but anyway, with that being said, I actually did have a good time at the cinemas watching this film. So here's how we're gonna do this review. I'm gonna go over the director, the plot, the cast, and then I'm gonna give my official rating out of 10 for this film at the end of this review, and I'm gonna let you know if you should go out to check this film out or not. So all that being said, let's go ahead and get into this review, man. Let's start with the director. So this film was directed by Robert Schwentke, I believe is how you say his name is. There he is right there. And so did he do a good job with this film? I feel like Robert here did a fantastic job in the cinematography department for this film. There's a lot of beautiful shots, a lot of beautiful backdrops, when the action is taking place inside of this film, which by the way, I feel like had a little too many jump cuts here and there. I wish, they let the scenes play out a little bit more, really show what the actors have been working on to get this movie done, in the action department. But anyway, the backdrops for the action scenes, the shots, the beautiful locations that we go to inside of this film, I really loved all that, man. It really spoke volumes to me, especially because a majority of this film took place in Japan. So if you don't already know, I am a huge Japan lover. I love their culture, I love their style, and so getting to see all the great scenery in the background from Japan, we get some beautiful shots from Tokyo in the back during some fight scenes with the neon lights in the alleyways. Man, it just looks really fantastic. I really love what he did in the cinematography department of this film. So many beautiful shots, so many great still shots where you could just take an image, you could take a screenshot of what you're watching and you could frame that up and it's just a beautiful picture. You know what I'm saying? And so all that being said, let's get into the plot for this film, man. So the plot for this film is an ancient Japanese clan called the Arishikage welcomes tenacious loner Snake Eyes after he saves the life of their heir apparent. Upon arrival in Japan, the Arishikage teach him the ways of the ninja warrior while also providing him something he's been longing for, a home. However, when secrets from Snake Eyes' past are revealed, his honor and allegiance gets tested, even if that means losing the trust of those closest to him. So that was the plot for our film, and quite honestly, I feel like with the way it was executed and the way it was presented inside of this film, it was very simplistic in its approach here. Now, when I say that, that's not always a bad thing, actually. I actually think it assisted this film, being that the story was so simplistic, so easy to follow, so typical in the tale that it was telling. It was honestly the perfect type of story that we needed for a film like this, because the majority of this film is an action movie, right? This is a ninja action movie. We all came here to see ninjas do cool shit, train, fight, and things like that. So you don't need to be too complex, too overdoing it with the story. I felt like they hit all the right beats here, all the right notes, and I thought it was well executed, quite honestly. We get some twists and turns in here that I thought fit the movie pretty well, and we even see, as you could hear there in the main summary, the main plot for this movie, we even get to see our main character's loyalty tested, along with a lot of other characters inside here, which, by the way, in terms of protagonists and antagonists inside of this film, of course, Snake Eyes being our protagonist, the main character we're following, and then Storm Shadow being the antagonist of this film. I more personally sided with Storm Shadow for a lot of his decisions and actions inside of this movie, and by the time I got to the end of this film, no spoilers, but I definitely liked Storm Shadow, I would say, even more than I did Snake Eyes, which is quite interesting. However, Snake Eyes did do a good job in this, and so with that being said, let's go ahead and use that as our transition into our cast. So Henry Golding plays Snake Eyes inside of this film, and I think he was a solid pick for a protagonist of a film, especially a film like this, a ninja action film. I feel he did a very good job with what he was given inside the script for this film. So our main character, Snake Eyes, inside of this film, he's a bit of a loner inside of this movie. He's trying to find his place in the world, trying to find a home. We see him getting involved, getting wrapped up in the criminal enterprise. He's very low on the totem pole in the criminal world, and with that being said, we see how someone starting so low on the totem pole, so average if you want to call it that, so out of the way, so not worried about out becomes, you know, this iconic, this great figure inside of this film. And so all in all, Henry Golding, you did a solid job inside of this film. I like what you brought to this movie. So moving on to our antagonists here, Andrew Koji plays the character Storm Shadow inside of this film. Now I feel like Andrew Koji did a fantastic job inside of this movie. I really do. I felt like he brought a lot and he added a lot to this film. I really, like I said, aligned with his character more than I did Snake Eyes, more than I did a lot of the other characters inside of this movie. I really like where Storm Shadow was coming from. He really showed his loyalty inside of this film, someone I would honestly want to be on the side of. And so with that being said, I feel like what they did with this film, they went a bit untraditional. You know, they showed our protagonist, you know, our good guy, supposed good guy. He has a lot of flaws in his character that he had to overcome, while Storm Shadow, you know, our antagonist here, I feel like he wasn't much of an antagonist as they wanted to make him out to be. And I honestly think a lot of people going to see this movie are going to side with Storm Shadow. That's just how I feel. But anyway, Andrew Koji, you did a solid job. I love the Storm Shadow character. If this gets a sequel, I'm definitely going to check it out for his character alone to see how his character progresses. And so all that being said, let's move on to our other characters inside of this film, our side characters inside of this film, starting with Scarlet, played by Samara Weaving. Now, Samara Weaving, I think, did a great job inside of this movie. Now, Samara Weaving, in my opinion, is a very underrated actress in Hollywood right now. She stars in one of my favorite movies of all time. I would probably put this in my top 10, top 15 favorite movies within the past decade. She plays the protagonist inside Ready or Not. If you have not seen Ready or Not, it's a hide and seek thriller type movie. It's a crazy off the wall movie. You got to go check it out if you haven't seen it. One of my favorites, Demigod recommendation. There you go. So Samara Weaving inside of this movie, I think she did a great job. Like I said, with the character she was given, she plays, honestly, her character reminded me a lot of Catwoman inside of the Dark Knight series, The Dark Knight Rises to be more specific. And so she plays this mercenary type of character, and I thought she did a solid job with what she was given. I liked her character. I like seeing her on screen. Every time she came on screen, she was a treat to have in the movie. Always a big fan of Samara Weaving and what she brings to films. Definitely want to see her in some more bigger movies here as she moves up in the world of Hollywood. So moving on to the final character that we're going to be going over inside of this review, Ursula Corbero. Now Ursula plays the character of the Baroness inside of this movie, who is actually the leader of Cobra. If you know anything about G.I. Joe, then you know who and what Cobra is. But yeah, so she plays the leader of pretty much a major gang inside of this movie, and I like what she brought to this film too. Again, a lot of these actors inside of this movie, I really didn't have a problem with any of them. I thought it was a really solid cast. I thought the cast did a great job. Even in the plot department, which we'll go over a little bit more, I didn't have too much of a problem with what was going on inside of this film. And honestly, I think this is a great time at the movie theater. So cast aside, all that being said, let's just get into my negatives of this film before we move over to the official movie rating for this film. So as far as my nitpicks and my negatives of this film, I feel like this movie definitely could have used an R rating. In fact, I feel like if this movie had an R rating, had some blood to assist in these action scenes and to really go into the dark films that it touches on inside of this film, I felt like an R rating really would have boosted this movie up to right where it needed to be. And I honestly think if this had an R rating, this could have potentially been a, you know, a comic book movie, if you want to call this that, a comic book movie classic. This movie could have been, and I feel like it missed the mark on that just a little bit, man. Honestly, some blood thrown in here, some deeper exploration of darker themes, darker tones in here, man, it would have took this movie to the next notch, to the next level that it really needed to hit to be one of my favorite movies out this year. And so other than that, I feel like this movie could have made it a little bit more clear on who is supposed to be our protagonist and who is supposed to be our antagonist inside of this film. You know, it kind of flip-flops a lot. I honestly thought we were watching a villain origin story for a little bit throughout this movie, for a lot of this movie actually, and considering it's not that, I felt like they definitely could have made things a little more clear in the script. However, I did like the way it was executed, and I liked getting to see a protagonist that isn't perfect, that is extremely flawed, and you know, that makes a lot of decisions that the audience might question. That is what I will say there. And so, other than my negatives, I'd also like to discuss the costume department inside of this movie. Now, the costume department inside of this movie is one of the best parts about this movie, in my opinion. You could definitely tell they put a lot of money behind this film, just based on the way it's filmed, the way it's acted out, and also the costume design. Man, the way Snake Eyes outfit looks inside of this, you got to see it a little bit inside of the trailer. I'll play it for you right here.
It's yours if you want it.
Let's go.
Yeah, Snake Eyes outfit is dope inside of this movie, and so is Storm Shadow's. I love Storm Shadow's contrast to Snake Eyes, how Snake Eyes is in the all black, Storm Shadow is in the all white outfit.
I came to make you an offer, Tommy.
Call me Storm Shadow.
I love that, man. I love that dynamic there, and I think it fits really well inside of this movie. All the ninjas look dope, all the gang members and everything, man. They just look really on point inside of this film. They did a solid job in the costume department. Shout out to whoever was in control of that department. So that brings us to our official rating for this movie. What does the Demigod rate Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins? Well, something you need to understand first, I am not the biggest G.I. Joe fan, so in terms of how well did this do setting up, you know, the origins of G.I. Joe, I'm not quite sure on that. You're gonna have to let me know that down in the comment section down below. However, the Demigod can definitely tell you whether a movie was good or not, and that's what I'm about to do right now. So what would I rate Snake Eyes? I could definitely tell you that I enjoyed this movie much more than Black Widow when I went to see this inside the theater, inside the cinemas, on the big screen. I love this film much more than Black Widow. I'd watch this movie again before I watched Black Widow again, and considering that we rated Black Widow a 7 out of 10, I am going to have to rate this film higher off principle, which, by the way, I feel like I was a little soft on Black Widow considering it's in the MCU and I'm a huge MCU fanboy. But anyway, I'm going to rate Snake Eyes a 7.5 out of 10. 7.5 out of 10. There it is up on screen. That is what this film gets on Demigod ENT. And honestly, man, this film was a great time at the theaters, a great time at the cinemas. I had a great time watching this film on the big screen, and I wouldn't be against going to see it again, going to check it out again, honestly. And so, should you go check it out? Definitely go watch this movie. If you're an action movie fan, if you're a G.I. Joe fan, go see what this movie was about. Those are my thoughts on this movie, man. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section down below. What you thought about this film. What would you rate this film out of 10? Let me know that down in the comment section down below. If you don't know what I do here on Demigod ENT, I do trailer reactions, show reactions, movie reviews, movie news, and unboxing videos. So if you're interested in any of that, you're in the right place, man. Hit subscribe, hit the like button, show this video some love. I drop multiple videos a day on this channel, so that's what you can expect out of me. And if you don't already know, I am the Demigod, the chosen one, here on Demigod ENT, and I'm out of this thing, man. I appreciate y'all for watching with me. More videos coming soon. Stay tuned. Peace. By the way, make sure you stay for the post-credit scene. It happens very soon after the title scene at the end of the movie. Little Demigod ENT tip for you. But anyway, I'm out of this thing, man. I appreciate y'all and love y'all that stayed to the end. Peace.